channel. It's me, Lene. So I'm going to be listening to the Geography Now little mini, I guess, documentary, or not really documentary, but just fun facts about Finland. Because y'all, I completely agree. The other one that I did about Finland, it was actually kind of disappointing. There wasn't as many facts as I would have liked. It wasn't as informative as I would have liked. So thank y'all for recommending this. So without further more, let's learn a little bit more about Finland.
Ah, Finland. Let's talk about this place that I totally have no preconceived biases towards.
I love his honesty. I already love
it. It's time to learn geography.
No! Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. Welcome to the dark sheep of Northern Europe. All the other Nordic countries are like la 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 la, while Finland is like
I love this one so much more. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I wish I would have found this one first. Damn it.
countries are like la 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 la, while Finland is like
yeah.
We'll get into the heavy metal thing in a bit, but first. Now just remember, Finland is Nordic, but don't call it Scandinavian. There's a huge difference. That title only belongs to Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. First of all, Finland is located in Northern Europe, lying on the Gulf of Finland and the Gulf of Bothnia, east of all that Scandinavian stuff. To the west, they border Sweden on the Torne River, or the Tornionjoki, until it reaches the tri-point border with Norway at the three-country Cairnstone. And to the east, they border big ol' Russia with another tri-point border with Norway that looks like this. The country is divided into 19 regions, or maakunta, with the autonomous region that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Okay, so I didn't know that. It's divided into different regions. That's kind of how, I guess the United States is divided by states. And then when you're actually in the state, then the state is divided by counties or parishes, depending on where you're from. And there's even like another name for the way that they're divided. And then, of course, then you have your cities and your towns. So technically, I live in a town that's by a city, that's in a county, that's in a state, that's in a nation. That's a lot.
And the capital of Helsinki, located in the south on the Gulf of Finland, which is also the second most northern capital in the world after Reykjavik, Iceland. The country also owns about 180,000 islands, the highest concentration of which found in the Baltic off the coast in the Åland archipelago. Keep in mind, parts of Finland also lie within the Arctic Circle. That's how far up north they are. And the three busiest airports are Helsinki, Oulu, and Rovaniemi. Now, my favorite part, territorial anomalies! First of all, with Russia, there are too many split islands and penne enclaves, the islands of Aikaniemi and Sursari, Tarasin Sari Islands and lakes, the island in the Koitajoki River. Seriously, just play around with Google Earth and see how many you can find. Finally, we get to Sweden and things get interesting.
I do have Google Earth. I definitely want to go through and kind of check out Finland.
Most of the borders with Sweden run along rivers that eventually flow into the Torne River, and then we get a strange golf course that is split between the two countries in the town of Tornio and Sweden. Not only that, but then you have the strange Market Island right next to Åland in the Gulf of Bothnia, which has an inverted S-shaped border. It had to do with the lighthouse that was built belonging to Finland, but then Sweden was like, hey, it's too close to our side of the island. So they drew a border that was like this to give each side equal shares of the land. See this?
Wow.
This archipelago cluster of islands right here, yeah, it belongs to Finland, even though most of the people here speak Swedish. Åland is Finland's strange little administrative anomaly. Long story short, it used to belong to Sweden, but then the Russians took over it in addition to Finland. But then after the Russian Revolution, Finland became free, and then the UN decided Åland should belong to Finland with autonomy. But then the Soviets started attacking again, and then Finland was like, nope, and then fought back relentlessly, defending themselves and Åland, and Sweden just kind of sat there and didn't really do much for Åland as they decided to stay neutral. Finland defending Åland was kind of like the turning point. Now,
yeah, Switzerland, you know, that's kind of the saying. I'm Switzerland, I'm in the middle, I'm not getting involved.
it's kind of like, Åland, come back to me! Look, Sweden, we had some great times, but you kind of really didn't do much for me when things got crazy. I mean, Finland defended me, okay? And he treats me well, okay? His tax incentives are great. It's time to move on. It's not me. It's you.
He's so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, if he does a bunch of different countries and different, I'm gonna use him from now on because he's funny. I love how he's doing this.
Now, if you want me to make this simple, some would argue that Finland is the best winter wonderland in the world. I mean, Canada's cool, but they have too many bears, and Iceland is too explodey, and Russia is too cold. Seriously though, the land is generally flat except in the north by the border with Norway, in which the highest mountain can be found, Mount Halti, although the peak is in Norway. However, in 2017, Norway plans to give Finland the peak for their 100th anniversary of independence from the Soviets. Finland is just wonderfully crisp and refreshing, usually ranking in the top 3 countries in the world with the cleanest air quality. This is partially because Finland is almost 80% covered in forest, one of the highest concentrations per square kilometer in the world, only behind countries like Gabon and Suriname. This makes Finland the largest producer of wood in the EU and one of the top in the world. Not only that, but Finland has about 188,000 lakes, most heavily concentrated in lakeland, and in addition to lakes, about 10% of the country is comprised of all water bodies like rivers, ponds, and streams. When mixed with the land, this makes about 1/3 of the country home to swamps and bogs.
That's what I was just about to say. I wonder if it's just a really swampy area. Kind of maybe if there's an issue with snakes and stuff like that, because we have some swampy areas around here too. Like if you look on our map, Louisiana, way down in Louisiana, New Orleans area, it is water mostly with just all these little islands put everywhere, and it's very swampy. And alligators, crocodiles, alligators, crocodiles. Which one is it? I never know. And then a lot of snakes, of course, too, with the humidity down here. It's just a really nasty-ish area. Not the people, not the place, nothing like that, but it's just a really kind of hard area to live in as far as swampy areas. So I wondered that when it said there were so many lands, islands and lakes and stuff like that. I was like, I wonder if it's kind of like a marshy type place as well.
Ponds and streams. When mixed with the land, this makes about 1/3 of the country home to swamps and bogs, making it the highest wetland proportion country in Europe and disputably the world. Maybe. But our floods are crazier. Fittingly, the name for swamp in Finnish is suo, and the word for Finland is suomi. I mean, technically they also have like 9 other words for swamp, like rame, neva, leto, luhta, laiteko, apa, paisa, janka, and korpi. And they love these swamps. One Finnish pastime is jumping in the mud, sometimes naked, and either playing soccer or wrestling. The landscape of Finland
Yeah, you would not want to do that in our swamps. No.
is shaped that way because imagine what happens when you crush something under a heavy glacier for a really long time, and then after the glacier melts, you're left with pockety erosion and mineral residue all over. Not only that, but Finland is experiencing a post-glacial rebound in which the land is steadily rising along the coast of the Gulf of Bothnia. Every year, Finland gains about 7 square kilometers and is technically rising out of the sea. The longest river is the Kemijoki that passes through Lapland and reaches the Gulf of Bothnia. And the largest lake, as well as the 4th largest in Europe, Lake Saima, is located in the southeast. Because Finland is so far north, they are known for being the land of the midnight sun, as during summer you can literally see the sun for 24 hours a day in the northern parts by the Arctic.
I don't like the sun. Nope. My family jokes around and they call me a vampire because I don't like being out there in that heat. I'm in Texas, y'all. You don't want to be out there in that heat. I promise. The people who are out there don't want to be out there. The sun is Satan here. We do not like it. At least I don't. But that looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm sure the humidity and all that really isn't too big of a deal up there. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Is it really humid up there? I wouldn't think. I wouldn't think it would be.
Sun, as during summer you can literally see the sun for 24 hours a day in the northern parts by the Arctic Circle. And of course in the winter times there's hardly any sunlight at all, but if you're lucky you can.
That would be nice. That would be nice. I'm a night owl. I always have been. I like the dark. It's quiet.
Northern parts by the Arctic Circle. And of course in the winter times there's hardly any sunlight at all, but if you're lucky you can witness an aurora borealis, especially in the northern parts. Oh, and by the way, the national animals are the whooper swan and the brown bear. Finnish agriculture is of course very standard for northern European countries. Lots of rye wheat, turnips, potatoes, and of course fishing is huge out here. However, due to the abundance of lakes and rivers, Finns prefer their own domestic freshwater fish like perch, zander, and miuku as opposed to the sea fish. Speaking of which, coming to Finland, chances are
I don't blame them. I would too. If I had such beautiful land like that and freshness and non-pollution, I would not be fishing in the seas. I'd fish in my own personal, pretty uncontaminated lakes. So yeah, I don't blame them.
you will eventually try reindeer meat in some shape or form, whether in stew or grilled. In Lapland, you might even find bear on the menu. You can try mami, a pudding made of rye, and of course, every Finn will make every visitor try the strong, salty salmiakki. They love salmiakki so much that they made it into an ice cream, and it's so good, and I'm so mad they don't sell it in my hometown. Oh yeah, in the wintertime, they build ice hotels, and there's like this cool waterfall in the Paratisi Kuru area in the Uru Kekkonen National Park. Okay, let's talk about Finnish people. Okay, if you go to Finland, you will most likely experience a rather intense yet intriguing social construct. First of all, the country has about 5.5 million people and is the
Oh, and I looked it up in my last Finland video. Houston, just Houston has over 2 million people. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot, y'all. I can't stand being around so many people. It gets me claustrophobic. Finland sounds like a freaking dream, you know, just going up there and not being too claustrophobic around so many people, fresh air, you know. So I'm going to be booking my ticket and moving there. No, I'm playing. I wish, though. I wish. Ugh.
intense yet intriguing social construct. First of all, the country has about 5.5 million people and is the most sparsely populated country in the EU. The country is about 90% ethnically Finnish, about 6% are Swedish, and the rest is made up of everything else under the sun like Russians, Estonians, Asians, and Africans. They use the
Do y'all have a lot of Americans that move there? Y'all let me know.
euro as currency, they use the type CEF outlets, and they drive on the right side of the road. Of course, the Finnish people speak the Finnish language, which is arguably one of the hardest languages on earth to learn. Conjugation is a mess. Nouns and adjectives have inflectionary forms, whatever that means. Nonetheless, Finland has one of the best schooling systems in the world. In Finland, school hours are shorter, less homework is given, and there are virtually no mandated standardized tests apart from the exam you take in your final senior year of high school. Also, if you get
Wow, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. I cannot stand our schooling system here and the things that they be teaching. I don't like it.
your PhD, you have the option to get a sword and a top hat along with your diploma. This is also why Finland is one of the most English-friendly countries in Europe. Children are taught around ages 9 to 11, and most people of the younger generation can at least hold an impressively fluid conversation. Finland is actually a conscription country in which all men ages 18 and up are required to serve either in the military or civilian services anywhere from 165 days to a year, depending on the type of service applied for. Åland Islands are exempt from the military conscription, but are required to serve in some kind of institution like the Coast Guard or civil services. Finnish culture
Wow, I wonder why. They have all the men come in and do a few years in the military. Y'all let me know why.
is actually pretty funny. The stereotype is that Finns are incredibly quiet and don't talk that much in most public transactions. Just mind your business and no small talk. The cartoon Finnish Nightmares illustrates this concept pretty well. Check it out. Which is funny because Finland is huge on the boisterous, loud, and flashy heavy metal culture, having the highest concentration of heavy metal bands out of any other country in the world, with nearly 650 per 1 million residents. Finns also invented any other country
I think that was Nightwish.
in the world with nearly 650
Right there. Yeah. Oh, I would notice him, Pooh. I would notice his smile.
per 1 million residents. Finns also invented the wife carrying competition, in which a man must carry either his wife or girlfriend or
I saw this in the last video. This is absolutely crazy. And so I asked in my last video, I didn't know if America had any kind of weird things that we do. And some of y'all were saying like wrestling and monster trucks. The Mexican culture does a lot of wrestling. I mean, and as far as monster trucks, are we really the only place that does monster trucks? Y'all let me know, because like monster trucks are freaking amazing. If y'all never actually went and watched them and watch them jump through the sky and all that kind of stuff, it's amazing. So yeah, there was a few things in my comments though about things that only Americans did, and I was like, really? I know for sure not wrestling, not because I mean, you look at Rey Mysterio and the WWE and the Mexican culture behind wrestling, we are definitely not the only ones.
or any girl that agrees to get tossed around in an obstacle course, and the winner gets the women's weight in beer. It's very strategic because if you want to win, you might want to carry a lighter wife, but if you want more beer, you better do your squats, bro. Now, if you must
I didn't think about that. Yeah, a lot of people were saying in the comments too about saunas, so let's see.
You might want to carry a lighter wife, but if you want more beer, you better do your squats, bro. Now, if you must know one thing about Finnish culture, you have to know about sauna. The Finns invented the sauna. Most homes, hotels, and apartments have a sauna built into them. They actually had a sauna competition at one point, but then a Russian guy died and they had to kind of cancel it. Overall, though, Finns are kind of brought up in a mindset known as sisu. It's kind of hard to explain the exact definition of it, but it kind of means something like guts or determination and never giving up, which really helped them along the fight with the Soviets. Sisu is to Finland what Jantaloen is to Denmark. There are so many other things I wish we could talk about, but we're running out of time.
Nokia, Angry Birds. Line, okay. I don't know what those are. I mean, I know Nokia and Angry Birds, but...
But we do have time for friend time. Historically, Finland was kind of always a little lonely. I mean, few, if any, trading routes ever went through this area. Even the Mongols were like, we're good, nah, yeah, carry on. Nonetheless, over time, Finland did develop relations, and to this day is one of the most diplomatically outreached countries in the world. I mean, the Finnish passport is the #1 ranked and most sought after, as it has the highest number of visa-free countries applied to it. First of all, Finland generally gets along with other Nordic countries. However, they have the biggest frenemy relationship with Sweden. They'll trade and share a beer or two, but when hockey season comes, the bloodbath begins. When it comes to Russia, Finland kinda has to be their friend because Russia has the longest border with them and business is important. Nonetheless, Russia is kinda seen as like the next door neighbor that you once got into an argument with, but then you kinda fixed things up, but then you kinda really didn't get over it, and then you have to see them every other day in the morning as you go to work.
I love that. I love that concept that he just said. Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with someone like that with, like he said, such a long border, literally the one person that you share the most land next to with. Yeah.
Germans are always welcome in Finland. Didn't get over it, and then you have to see them every other day in the morning as you go to work. Germans are always welcome in Finland, and Hungarians are like the long-lost distant cousins that they just discovered and are trying to build a relationship with. Their best friends, though, might be Estonia and Norway. Everybody loves Norway. It's like the Cameroon of Europe. Norway has never had any controversy with Finland, and with the recent mountain gift proposal, relations are only strengthened. Estonia is like the nagging little sister that tries to imitate her bigger brother. I mean, they both even have the same national anthems, but in the end, they
Little sister.
little sister that tries to imitate her bigger brother. I mean, they both even have the same national anthems, but in the end, they are family and Finland always loves her. In conclusion, Finland really is a winter wonderland with quiet people that transform into metal monsters after a pint of long drink.
Oh my god, it sounds like me, except for without the alcohol. I'm clean and sober, but oh god, I love the nighttime, and I'm kind of shy. I don't really talk. Like, if you get me into a big crowd of people, I really am kind of the one that's like, ooh, not gonna say too much. I mean, I'm not an awkward person. I will talk, but then deep down on the inside, I'm a metalhead that if you get me in my vehicle, the first thing that you hear is metal that you can't even begin to understand. So that's so funny. And I'm a night owl. I love the nighttime. Always have, always will. So that's so funny. I love that.
Winter wonderland with quiet people that transform into metal monsters after a pint of long drink, topping their days off, baking themselves in human ovens for fun. And with that, we finish the Finnish episode. Ah, you waited for that for over 10 minutes. Stay tuned. The the country that must not be named is coming up next.
What country? Now I want to watch it. Oh man, I'm glad that y'all let me know about this. This was really good. This was a lot better than the other one that I had watched. I'm sorry, y'all. I just looked up one and it had a whole bunch of views on it, and I was like, oh, okay, this must be a good one. And then after I had recorded it, I was like, I didn't get as much information as I wanted, though. Alright, y'all, thank y'all so much. Like and subscribe if you'd like to. Over 80% of the people that watch my video are not subscribed. So subscribe if you'd like to. It helps out my channel, liking it, commenting, all that stuff. I'd like to make this be something a little bit more permanent. So anything that y'all can do to help me out is greatly appreciated. Like and subscribe if you'd like to. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and listening to me. And with that,